Hello, and welcome to the Days of Yore. Today I'm trooping the colors here because we're going to be speaking about one of the first ships built on Beaubears Island. As a matter of fact, the first ship that we know of that was built there, the Lovell, constructed in 1797, and that saw military action in the War of the Second Coalition against the French Revolution in 1799. My sources today come from the British newspaper archives and also from Memorial University in Newfoundland. So let's start right away with a little bit of context. So the Lovell was built at the Fraser shipyard on Beaubears Island. So James Fraser and his partner James Thom became the owners of Beaubears Island originally in 1788 and eventually would own the entire island by 1805. They eventually started a fishing operation on the island, but later moved on to shipbuilding because they felt that it was a more lucrative venture. Their master builder Charles Vye learned his trade in Trinity, Newfoundland, building ships for fishing, for merchant marine, and also for the Royal Navy. So, the Lovell, as I mentioned, was constructed in 1797. And it may have been built and named to replace another ship that had been burned 4 years before by the French Navy in the course of the War of the First Coalition against revolutionary France. So it was sold to Dan Pennell in Topsham and was captained by John Bowden, and began taking trips across the Atlantic, visiting ports in Newfoundland, also in Great Britain, and in Portugal. So in April 1798, it left Portugal with quite a large consignment of cargo, and I'll read that to you here. So 19 hogsheads of wine, which is about 4,700 liters of wine. So that's a pretty impressive amount. But by far not the least of it, because they also had 220 pipes of wine. So now, if I understand correctly, a hogshead is a sizable barrel of wine. A pipe is an even larger barrel of wine. So 220 pipes would be over 27,000 gallons of wine. So this is quite a huge consignment. I mean, they were having a pretty good time coming from Oporto. Also 46 bags of cotton and 100 quintals of cork, which would have equaled about 10,000 kilograms of cork. So, a pretty large cargo, as I mentioned. So thousands and thousands of liters of wine in some cotton and some cork, leaving Portugal and heading back to the UK. So later that same year of 1798, the Lovell started a new phase in its life. It's now no longer a cargo ship, but a ship of war. It was outfitted with 12 6-pound cannons, and it applied for a letter of marque. So a letter which would allow it to seize these cargo from other ships and take them as an act of war. So the War of the Second Coalition against revolutionary France was about to begin, prompted by the actions of Napoleon Bonaparte, first in Malta and later in Egypt. These actions would culminate in the Battle of the Nile, a battle which, as a slight sidebar, would involve a future owner of Beaubears Island, Joseph Russell, who was a midshipman aboard the Vanguard under another notable individual, Rear Admiral Sir Horatio Nelson, who would eventually give his name to a certain community which overlooked a certain island. So there you are. So in the midst of this martial atmosphere, the Lovell set forth. And unfortunately, though across the Atlantic twice in 1798, in April of 1799, it was captured in a sea fight against 4 Dutch frigates. So it was traveling, these 4 frigates came up from Suriname, from South America, and eventually seized the Lovell. So the Lovell was outnumbered 4-1, and each one of these frigates would have been more heavily armed individually than the Lovell was. So we're not really sure if there was a fight or not. There's some speculation, but we do know that the Lovell was captured. Its crew and its captain, Captain John Bowden, were interned in Bergen in Norway, and they were there for about a year or 2. In 1801, and the Lovell was set free and once again returned to the seas. As a result of British victories in the War of the Second Coalition, the Lovell was later able to operate out of the South American ports that their captors had left from years before. So in 1801, in April of 1801, it traveled from Newfoundland to Demerara in Guyana, and unfortunately in 1802, who suffered an accident in the Downs on the southern coast of England while traveling from Waterford in Ireland. That same year, the Lovell was sold in Martinique and ended its journey so far as we're aware. So, an interesting little tale of the first ship that we know that was built on Beaubears Island, the Lovell. A cargo vessel, a military vessel, and a cargo vessel once again. So I think we'll leave it there for today. Next week, please join my colleague Ken Walker for a new episode of The Living Island, which I'm sure you're looking forward to, and I'm sure he'll be very happy to see you. Of course, you know The Days of Yore is a production of this channel. And if you're able, we would very much welcome your support. Please like the video, give it a thumbs up, subscribe to the channel, hit the little bell button so that you'll always be made aware of new posts on our channel. And if you're able, please consider supporting us through our Patreon page listed in the comments below. And, of course, when the time comes, as and when you're able, please consider visiting us here on Beaubears Island and here in the village of Nelson. So, for The Days of Yore, I've been Dr. Sean McCarthy. I very much enjoyed our time together today, and I hope to see you again very soon. Thanks so much.